Hi guys, Kuwait Kai. I can't make it to the 100th anniversary of the homestead this year, so in my stead I am sending on this album. So I made this video so that you guys could see what it is and how it works and what it's for, and I hope that you like it, and I hope that it arrived safely. And I hope that everybody who is there gets an opportunity to participate in filling it up with memories. Okay, again, Kuwait Kai, happy 100 years. Hi. In order to get the whole album in frame, I have to have my camera perched up very high, so I can't look at the screen while I'm filming, so hopefully I'll stay in frame the whole time and I won't have to refilm this over and over. So this is the album that I made for Cliff and Judy Akin's celebration for the 100th anniversary of the homesteading of their properties. Tiny bit of background for those who watch this video and have no idea who I'm talking about. The Akins are family friends of mine, and when I was a little girl I was I don't want to say dragged, but there was compulsory attendance required up in Montana where they have a home, and you know, it involved a lot of outdoorsy things that I didn't appreciate when I was 9 or 10 or 11, and I certainly can't say that I miss even today. Just not really a country girl. I am calling this a macro mini. This is actually a full-size album. This is a 12 by 12 album. It is 6 pieces of 12 by 12 chipboard that have been covered with paper, painted and embellished to use as an album. But instead of using the traditional scrapbook, route, I did the more mini album way, where you create the pages without the pictures. So, which is something I've only... Would you like some ice cream? I can hear the ice cream truck. This is something I've only recently gotten into. It's a very different approach for scrapbooking, but as you'll see when we go through it, it works really well for this particular use. I can't spend a lot of time going over all the paper. I use many different pads of paper. My advice, if you're someone who's just watching because they want to see the album, what I've done, if you have a question, just post a comment and I'll do my best to get back to you and let you know what paper or what brand or where I got things. Most of the embellishments are Jolie's. That's pretty much the only piece of consistency. So real quick, it is bound the method I saw on YouTube, Charlie Jones 2686, I'm thinking. I have bound several of my mini albums this way, so you can see the binding, I hope. I don't really know, but it's not fat, and so I'm very happy, because many of you know I'm not a big fan of chunky. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to crack this thing open, and let me show you the inside. So the first page... the first page is meant to be all about the history of the homestead, and I did leave a space here so they could type or write up the story of the homestead. I considered doing that for them, but who has the time? This album took me several weeks to complete, and right now I'm so relieved that it's done. I do have a waterfall flip feature here, and it is for smaller size photographs, so this is the opportunity and the place to put vintage photographs. So that's the first page. So the second page is titled The Log Cabin. They have built their own log cabin up there. It's like on the top edge side of a mountain. It's got views that will knock your socks off, and the windows to proffer the view. So I thought that that's a really important piece of the homestead, and it's a really important piece of the experience one has when one goes to visit. So I do have some places for photos here. The rest of the pages will be traditional photo sizes, 4x6. This album really is all about real estate for photos. And what I was thinking is maybe a before and an after and an in between, and then this photo mat actually acts as a pocket, and I have just some tags so you could put smaller photos and comments, maybe, you know, while it's under construction, things like that. It took quite a while, if I recall correctly, for that cabin to be done, so it's a very impressive amount of work, something that I would never undertake myself. The next page, they really do live off the land up there, and they do hunt, and they do grow their own produce and things like that. It's really, really the exact, you know, antipathy of me. I'm all about the safe way and what have you. But hunting is a big part of the experience up there as well. You know, if that offends your sensibilities, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, unless you're a vegan, I'm really not very empathetic. That being said, this page, I do have a couple of pull-out photo mats. They just open up so that there's some room for photos. And another photo here. And then this is a nice little area. They must keep records of the biggest or the heaviest or the hardest or the, I don't know, kill. They do like trophies. So I'm thinking that that would be a good spot to put that information there. Excuse me. So the other big thing is fishing. Oh Lord, it's fishing, fishing, fishing. So much bloody fishing. And then there's, you know, the catching of the fish and the cleaning of the fish and the cooking of the fish and the eating of the fish. Believe it or not, those of you who haven't talked to me in a couple of decades, since I was a child up there in Montana, I now don't eat fish. Ever. So I don't miss it. And of course, you know, my dad used to get very frustrated with me because I don't know how to fish. Set the hook. Set the hook. Set the hook. I don't know. So it was just awful. The fish would always swallow the hook, and you were just left with this horrible fishy mess. So this page is kind of dedicated to the fishing experience. And here I have a little area. I thought that would be good for them to put the fishing records, and longest fish, biggest fish, heaviest fish, whatever they keep track of. You know, I thought you could put it here, and if you mount it on little photo corners, you can change it so that when someone breaks the record, you'll be able to keep that updated. And then I just have a couple of tiny little tags here, painted gold. And then I found this really great ugly fish paper that I turned into some little tags. So put pictures there, comments or memories or whatever. And there's always room for a photo back there as well. Isn't that great paper with the lures? It's really cute. Okay, the next page. Sorry, I'm gonna have to. Oh, it's a double page, so this will be tough. We'll have to see one at a time. So we have the Up the Yak page. It's 2 pages spread. So going up the Yak River is another part of the experience when you go to visit in Montana. It's camping and, believe it or not, fishing. And so I made this. I just have a little clip here so that it stays in place. But I made this pretty big accordion pull-out. I don't know what will stay in frame and what won't stay in frame. But you can see plenty of real estate there for pictures. And then what I did is I created these little tags here. And there's several in here. And they're just plain paper tags. And they're lined on one side. And what I thought it would be cute is people could write their memories of going up the Yak or their first time up the Yak, and you could, you know, you could have their picture, or they could draw a picture, or even mark their brand marks. Every time you go up the Yak, you get another brand on your belt. So there are some of us with a couple of brands, and there are some of us with, you know, a ridiculous amount of brands. So that's that. And then on the other side, okay. So this side says Puet Kai, and the first side said Up the Yak. And then just a couple places for a couple more pictures. Maybe the 2 pictures that are the stars of the Up the Yak memories. I will be honest, my favorite part of Up the Yak is the pizza. Oh. Bet y'all thought I was going to say the fishing, huh? Alright, so the next page, try to keep it in frame, is called Campfire Stories. And I meant to put Owa, Tagu, Siam, but my printer sadly has run out of ink, and I don't want to write it with my own hands because that's sloppy. So, imagine that that's what it says there. And in fact, this spot here I thought would be a cute place to put the best campfire story, which may be the lovely tradition of making a goose out of the newbies on the trip, and just a couple little areas for photographs there. S'mores, of course, were the best part about going up the Akin camping. The pizza wasn't really involved with the camping. This page is all about food. So because there's a lot of hunting involved and a lot of this living off the land kind of idea, you get the opportunity when you visit to eat game, which you may not have that opportunity where you live. Actually in California, where I am, game is not that hard to come by, but it's certainly not cheap. And so I ate a lot of new things. If I recall correctly, I had deer for the first time, elk, bear, moose, and I believe grouse, which was quite gamey, if I recall. Moose I didn't like; it was very stringy, and bear I feel that you have to season it so much that it kind of defeats the purpose. However, venison and elk are wonderful, and elk I think was my favorite. And elk burger, that's one of my fondest memories of going up there. I don't eat red meat anymore, but every time I go to Fuddruckers, I'm very tempted to get an elk burger, but I never do. I always get the chicken. So what I did for this page is I made a whole bunch of little tags. There's actually a double pocket here. I made a whole bunch of little tags, and they just kind of have like little foodie type of little stickers on them. And you notice they all have these quotes with these lines, because I thought that this would be a place, it's not really about the picture, right? This is about the experience eating game for the first time, what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it, and I thought it would be cute if people could leave comments you know, about their experience with the food. And in fact, there's actually plenty of room, don't worry, because this opens up here, and there's two more flaps full of tags. And then of course there is room for photographs, I guess if we have a picture of somebody grilling an elk burger, or even baking a huckleberry pie. I don't think I've ever had huckleberries outside of Montana. So, excuse the motorcycle. It's a very, very happening street here. So the last two pages, they are a double page. And of course, I'm gonna try to ooh, so you can see them. So it's the celebration. So these two pages are dedicated to the celebration of the homestead. It's going on, I believe it's on a Saturday, and in fact I believe it's the coming up Saturday from when I'm speaking. So there's going to be a lot of photo ops. So there's room for picture here, there's room for pictures here. Sorry, there's a lot of glitter, sorry about that. And then I made these little booklets here, which have several 4x6 photo mats, and the same as here. And they just tuck into there. And then of course the other side is a little less photo intensive. I do have room for 2 pictures there. So that's that. The back cover's plain. So that is the album. Hopefully that all made sense to those of you who are recipients of the album, and hopefully those of you who are just watching because they like to see what other people do and get a little inspiration, or perhaps I have a fan somewhere out there in YouTube land. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope I stayed in frame. And if you have any questions, of course, don't hesitate to ask. And for those of you up in Montana and partying without me, I'm there in spirit. And please use this and chronicle the weekends and chronicle all the memories that you have that you wouldn't have had if we wouldn't have had that Akin homestead up there to visit. Okay? Puet Kai. Bye, guys.